Diwali celebration is going on in full swing, and my mom could watch TV series anytime in between. Generally, I shoot at night, but today it's evening time, and there could be noises, so please bear with me. In the previous video, we ended with a vulnerability called as XSS. We saw a pop-up, and what's so harmful about the pop-up? We'll be exploring that in the next series of videos. We're going to take a deep dive in XSS, but before we even do that, I would want you to learn some prerequisite skills first. Those skills are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I'll 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 put the link in the description for the videos. I want you to watch these two videos in order. If you already know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, great. But if you don't, I highly recommend you watch the JavaScript video because it is important that you understand programming concepts, and the JavaScript video will help you with that. It's important to know programming concepts. For a long while, whenever freshers or youngsters came to me with this question, should I know programming language for me to get into cybersecurity or do good in cybersecurity? My answer was always a qualified one. I always replied with not necessarily, but it will help you if you know programming concepts. But after having 3 years of experience and exposure to several projects, I would highly suggest that you at least have one programming language learned. People generally suggest Python. I would, if you are starting with web AppSec journey or web pentest journey, I would highly suggest start with JavaScript because many of XSS attacks depends on you knowing JavaScript well. In the previous video, we saw web architecture and we saw 3 components to it, right? Web server, app server, and database server. I would want to add one more element to it. Let me draw the diagram first. So we had web server, we had an app server, we also had a database server. Let me add another component to this diagram. Let me add a browser. So browser, we call it client, and XSS attack happens on the browser, as in XSS is a client side attack. What I mean by that is, if I draw a line here, this entire portion is server side, right? We call it web server, app server, database server. This side is client side. Now, when I say client side attack, don't mistake it for something in which server side components are not involved. Even in client side attack, server side components play a huge role. It is just that the attack is taking place on the client side. That's why we call it a client side attack. Now, in the browser, we load web pages, and web pages are made up of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I'll rather show to you. Let us create a web page together. I'll open this folder. In VS Code. Let me create a new file and write the code away. So I'm creating a web page now. I'm writing the HTML content. Now within this style tag, I'm going to write the CSS content. And within the body, I can also load it in head. And within the script tag, I'll be writing my scripts. In the body, let me just add a component. add a HTML element called as this is a web page. It's a header element. Let us open this web page. See, here we have a web page. If I open this, this is the loaded web page. If I see the source code, view page source, I did a control U there. We are able to see what I wrote in Visual Studio. Now, can add a style to this element. Let me just change the color to red. If we go back to the page and I reload, so this is the style element. So what did I say? I said we have HTML, CSS and JavaScript. This part was the CSS part. And now let us do something with script. Now the script part is a very powerful part. It is so powerful. You can do very many things with your JavaScript. Let me just show you one example. Let me move the script down to the body. Let me add one button element. Let me give this button a class. Let me write a function first. Function, let me call this function know me. This function will let more about me. It will give my name basically. Let me select query selector. Dot. I'm basically just selecting the element, the button element. So upon clicking the button element, I want the button element to display I am Ram. So currently it will have click here to know about me. Let us check that web page. So yeah, it has click here to know about me. And in the button, I am going to add on click event. The function is going to be know me. So what I've written here, this is the button. Currently it displays click here to know about me. If I click on it, I want this function to be executed. That function, what it does, it selects this element, button element, and replaces the inner text or inner HTML with I am Ram. Let us see if this works. So yeah, by clicking the button, now I'm able to see I am Ram. This is the script that I intended for this button to do. If I click on it, it should give my name. Now the script that you saw, it was written by me. By me, I mean the developer. I wanted the script to change the button from click here to know about me to I am Ram. That was my intention. Now imagine an attacker or someone else injects their own script and changes this to I am Ravan. Then the script is not written by me. It is coming from somewhere else, somewhere from across, somewhere from a different site. Then that becomes a cross-site scripting. Now, how does this cross-site scripting happens? How is someone able to inject their own script, not which the developer intended, but by the user who is sitting on the browser? They are able to inject their own script. Let us see an example of it now. Here I have this web page. Let us view the page source. In this web page, there's just one script element, and this is the only statement that is supposed to exist as a script. This script is intended by the developer, and if we go through the code, you'll be able to see that there are no other script tags or scripts. Now, if we are able to inject our own script here, yeah, man. Now let us look at the page source. Are you able to see here? Now, along with the original script that the developer intended, now there is another script. This script was added by the attacker. This script is not supposed to be existing here because the developer never intended for it to be here. We can see the console and see the script execution happening. This was intended by the developer and this was executed by the attacker. So this is what script originating from a different source means. Developer originally intended for this field to greet the user. They never intended for the users to enter their script here because script can do very many things apart from existing as a simple name. So that's what script originating from a different source means. I'll stop here for now. There are different types of XSS. We'll be exploring that in the next series of videos. Next one will be reflected XSS. I'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching.